Next, Nicholas CRUZ after the massacre. The interrogation. Plus the fast food faux pas.
I can't say people love my bowls.
No. Next at 11.
Next, for the first time, we are hearing and seeing Nicholas CRUZ in the hours after the massacre.
Live team coverage of his interrogation at 11.
This is CBS 4 News Tonight. Nicholas CRUZ. After the massacre.
What does the voice say to you? What does it tell you to do?
Burn, kill, destroy.
Okay, burn, kill, destroy what?
Anything.
Tonight, the interrogation of the confessed Parkland school shooter.
It is very difficult to watch, and today the state attorney's office released most of the 12 hours of that interrogation video.
In it, CRUZ sobs and speaks with his brother, and when left alone, he slaps and punches himself. CBS 4's Hank Tester is live at the jail in Fort Lauderdale, where CRUZ is being held. Hank.
Well, that interrogation went on for over 10 hours, all night long, exhausting, and it revealed very interesting discussion over the voice that CRUZ hears in his head. Let's take a look. Nicholas CRUZ led into a small interrogation room just hours after being arrested in the wake of the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. He's shackled, left alone. He appears to be aware of the camera, soon gestures like shooting himself. Then, with detectives still out of the room, begins hitting himself over and over again, eventually saying, Broward Detective John Curcio begins the marathon interrogation, eventually getting to the voices that CRUZ claims he hears in his head.
Are the voices like outside your head or inside your head when you hear them?
Inside.
The detective does not believe the voice story. CRUZ tells him he kept his guns locked up because of the voice.
Do you keep the gun safe locked all the time? Why do you do that?
To protect myself.
Protect yourself from what?
From my voice.
CRUZ talked about shooting up a park that the voice told him to kill, to destroy. The detective presses the voice issue.
How many times has the voice talked to you while we've been in a room here together?
A lot.
Has the voice said jump out of the chair and do anything bad to that policeman?
Saying kill yourself now.
I don't really believe there is a voice, to be honest with you.
There is a voice.
No, I don't think there is.
I'm telling you the truth. There is.
No. I mean, I feel you probably want to kill yourself because of what happened, but...
No, the voice is telling me to kill myself.
Okay, but the voice is telling you that the AR-15s is... You like guns, man. You wanted to be a ranger. You like guns. It's all right. There's cops like that. There's cops who got 50 million guns. You didn't buy guns because the voice said, hey, today I like Mossbergs, tomorrow I like AR-15s. You like guns.
Can call the psychologist.
So he wanted a psychologist, and he also told the police officer there, the detective, he didn't smoke a lot of marijuana. The reason, when he did, the voice went away. I'm Hank Tester, CBS 4 News Tonight. Back to you.
Hank, thank you. The most emotional we saw CRUZ was when the detective allowed his half-brother Zachary CRUZ into the room.
Can I hug him?
Yeah. As long as you do.
Dude, I love you too, bro. I know what you've gone through, bro. That's okay, bro.
CRUZ, weeping, says he's sorry and then calls himself a coward, stupid, and a failure. The brothers also discussed what happened earlier that day and how their mother, who had died, would have reacted to it.
The father of one of the victims of the school shooting is sharing his thoughts on the interrogation.
And he's also calling for Broward School Superintendent Robert Runcie to resign. CBS 4's Aurelia Ortega continues our team coverage live at Stoneman Douglas High School, where Runcie showed off some new security enhancements today. Aurelia.
Rick and Rutabaga, there are a number of new security measures here at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas for the new school year, but the father of one of the victims says that's not enough. He wants the superintendent's resignation.
Kill me.
Chilling and disturbing statements by Nicholas CRUZ as he speaks with investigators following the massacre at Marjory Stoneman Douglas on February 14th. Andrew Pollock, whose daughter Meadow was one of the 17 victims in the mass shooting, is among those reacting to the newly released video of CRUZ.
That confession really was just a way of 1958 trying to avoid the death penalty.
Tonight, Pollock held a conference call discussing the failures of the Broward School District in keeping students safe. Some of those who participated are calling for the resignation of Broward School Superintendent Robert Runcie, but want to know how the district would move forward.
My question is, once we run the superintendent out of town, which he deserves to be run out of town, what's the process for getting a new superintendent, and who decides that, and how does that process work?
A week before the start of the new school year, Superintendent Runcie was on hand at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, taking part in a guided tour showing off upgrades.
Security staff that's monitoring the portables as well.
Fully equipped portables are connected electronically to all other buildings on campus. The facilities were fast-tracked and installed in 2 months to serve as classrooms, restrooms, and more, now that the infamous 1200 building where the mass murder occurred is off-limit. Runcie says the first day of school will be like no other.
It will be emotional. It will be difficult as we remember the victims, their families, faculty and staff, and everyone in this entire community.
Runcie named more than a dozen new security measures ready to greet students on day one. The changes are district-wide, but with a focus on MSD. The changes include single points of entry, controlled access card readers, 2,300 new surveillance cameras installed across Broward schools, double the security at Douglas, and perhaps most controversial at Stoneman Douglas, metal detectors to be launched for now in trial use.
We've been laser focused on security. As I said before, for some, it's never going to be enough. And for others, it's going to be too much.
Tomorrow, parents of Parkland victims plan to hold a news conference to formally call for Runcie's resignation. Live in Parkland, Aurelia Ortega, CBS 4 News tonight.
Aurelia, thank you. And tonight, families in Parkland got the chance to meet the city's new Broward Sheriff's Office District Chief.
Still ahead on CBS 4 News at 11, new disturbing revelations about a mysterious compound in New Mexico where 11 hungry kids were living in filth. How police say they were being trained for violence.
That incredible video of a fire NATO swirling in the sky as crews battle a blaze.
And what is that erupting on the streets of a small village in Switzerland, scaring residents?
It doesn't look good. Craig Setzer in CBS 4 Weather Control. What does look good, the radar tonight, all quiet out there, a day without rain and rainy season. But how long can it last? Not very long. I've got your forecast coming up.
I'm Jim Barry. Tonight on Camp Dolphins, Kim Bokamper tells us what to look for in tomorrow's preseason opener against Tampa. Will the Dolphins look good? That's coming up after the late news.
I'm Lauren Pastrana. Thursday on CBS 4 this morning, sophisticated Mexican fare takes center stage in this week's Taste of the Town, Thursday at 4:30.
Camp Dolphins is next, followed by The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Jim Barry coming up next. Have a good night.